Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about something that has finally happened here in NBA 2K26 MyTEAM. After really a couple months of this game being out, the market has finally actually crashed at a pretty significant amount. And so we're going to talk about the market crashing and why I think that is, why I would still be a little bit hesitant to spend too much of your MT, but also I think this might be a good opportunity to pick up certain cards and stuff. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 50,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop into it and let's talk about it. So I think the biggest driving force, in all honesty, for the market crashing is a couple of things. Number one, the introduction of Hall of Fame boxes does to a certain extent contribute to market crashing because a lot of people buy them. There's more unsellable good pink diamonds and stuff that people have, so people wind up selling more cards and things like that. But more importantly, really, is the increase in pack odds. I know it doesn't seem dramatic going from 2.1 to 3.6 on diamonds, going from 8 to 14% on amethysts, and then going from less than 1% to still less than 1% on pink diamonds. But I'm telling y'all, there has been an increase across the board in the amount of cards on the auction house by a pretty decent amount over the past couple of weeks, especially this past week since they updated these pack odds. And the reason I think for that really is because there's just a lot more cards being pulled, and of course the introduction of more and more depth to content drops, as in the really good chills drop that we had that had a bunch of good cards in it. Dylan Harper, Derek Lively, Mike Miller solid, Tyrese Halliburton solid, Alex Cruz is an incredible budget card, James Jones is decent, a lot of other, Marquise Chris is a great budget card as well, and then obviously multiple good free cards as well. The updating of the Motor Awards from Season 2, which are now better cards, the ability to get guys like OG Anunoby and Zachary Ricochet for free from the festival. Like, again, my team is not in a perfect spot, but all of these different things have kind of contributed together to dropping the market consistently or significantly, and I think that's kind of true across the board. For example, KD with 15 minutes left is 1.5 mil. That would have been 2.5 mil a week ago. Carmelo's 400K with 17 minutes left. He was going for over a million MT a week ago. Same thing can be said for Anthony Davis. All these wild gem pink diamonds that were almost a million MT themselves now aren't either. Across the board, you're seeing a significant drop in prices on cards, and I think partially maybe that's because people are saving their MT knowing that opals are likely coming soon, but I do also think there's just a more significant amount, not by a humongous amount, but there's definitely more pink diamonds on the market overall, and you see that less today than you'll see it, for example, on Friday. But at the same time, I do think there has been a overall decrease in the price of these cards, and that is trickling down. I mean, the good diamonds are more affordable too. There are a lot of really good diamonds. I mean, there are a lot of solid diamonds legitimately for buyouts now. Like, I'm not just saying that. I think there are legitimately a lot of good diamonds that you can get for cheap. I mean, Jack Marin for less than 50K. I think he's even cheaper than that. I saw him for 30K yesterday, literally. AC Green for 50K. Like, that is a budget. And then obviously all the good budget cards as well. Tyson Chandler for 90K. This card was 200K a couple weeks ago. The amount of good cards that you can get now for under 100,000 MT, not to mention, obviously, Alperen Şengün, Mitchell Robinson, DeAndre Ayton, Cam Johnson, Igor Demon, these players that they're putting in the exchange that are attainable as well. I mean, Pink Diamond Desmond Bane was attainable. A lot of people picked him up. There's just a much larger quantity of good cards across the board that are now affordable when they weren't a couple weeks ago, and it's something that I think is being noticed across the game mode. I mean, even like a Dylan Harper, probably the best diamond in the game, 100,000 MT. I mean, he's literally arguably the best. He's one of the 2 or 3 best diamond cards in the game. He's barely over 100,000 MT. Like, the value on these cards has dropped so much, and it's a great opportunity to fill out your team with some really good budget options. Even Jaren Jackson Jr., I think literally the best diamond in the game, he's dropped in price a bit. He's still expensive, but he's still dropped in price a decent bit. And I just love the amount of good cards that you can get at this point in the year for an affordable price point. If you, let's say, I mean, let's go look. Obviously I have not really been grinding on my Pro Money Spent account this season, but this is a lineup of all free cards that I had from Season 1. Let's say you added a Sidney Moncrief to this team. You added a Elton Brand potentially to this team. You buy a Jaren Jackson Jr. You lock in for a Mitchell Robinson, and you grind for Chris Bosh. So then you have Triple J, Jack Sigma, Chris Bosh, and Mitchell Robinson as your big man. Like, that's really good. there are a lot of versatile quality cards that can be picked up across the board. Now, you buy a 100K point guard in Dylan Harper, and let's say you don't have MCW, so you're running Jason Kidd from Season 1 still, or you run an Alex Caruso, or you pick up somebody like an Igor Dimon for 40K from the exchange. The shooting guard position, you could play Ricochet now. You could play OG Anunoby at small forward. Obviously, free cards like Clay and Bowen and guys like that can still absolutely be super viable, especially Bowen. I think he's a great card still. Glenn Rice from Season 1 is still awesome if you have him as one of your small forwards. There is just so much ability now to build a legitimately deep, good team without every card being millions and millions of MT. Now, if you want the best cards in the game, they are still expensive. Don't get that twisted. And obviously, the guys, especially from prior to pack odds being updated, are super rare. A Dr. J is going to be super rare. A Devin Booker is probably going to be super rare. Guys like that aren't going to be super common, but even them are going to be less expensive than they have been. And I mean, even the exchanges are less expensive now because of the hot boxes. Those exchanges dropped in price a decent bit as well. Not that I'd recommend locking in millions of MT for Scottie Pippen or Joel Embiid or Penny Hardaway or anything like that. I just think locking in that much MT that you can't get back later is a bad idea, especially if you're more of a lower money spent player. But I do think that we are in a better position now with budget cards than we were a couple weeks ago by a long shot. Every position, there's a couple guys you can pick up who can fill holes and compete at the highest position or at the highest level, either for free or for relatively cheap. And that is something that I think is really, really good for the state of the game. It enables people to build a better all-around squad. And yes, while guys like D-Book and Dr. J and Wimby and players like that are going to still be they are still the best cards at their position, and they still are relatively tough to attain. I think what we're seeing is a bit more attainability across the board. I mean, Andre Kirilenko literally might be the best small forward in the game. They dropped him in an exchange you can get for less than $1 million MT. I'm not saying it's that's still worth locking in that much MT, but for some people it might be, and it's definitely encouraging to see that exchange be a lot cheaper than what the Penny Hardaway exchange from the previous week was, for example. I just think there's a lot of small examples that when added together have created such a drop in prices. I mean, even budget. Like, again, there are a lot of good diamonds that you can get for under 50,000 MT now. There are a ton of good amethysts that you can get for under 50,000 MT now. The market has dropped so much. There is a great mix of free cards, budget cards, and slightly above budget, but still really good, decently affordable cards going for 100, 150,000 MT. And while some of the top tier pink diamonds and stuff are still pretty unattainable, and that may remain the case, there's a lot of good value here too, man. Mike Miller for 37K, that's not bad. Like, there's so many good options sprinkled throughout. Yes, a lot of bad cards, but sprinkled in throughout a lot of those bad cards are really good cards for very affordable prices at this point. I mean, Derek Lively's 44K. That's solid, man. Like, I really do think as a whole, it's becoming a lot more viable to compete at a lower budget and build a solid squad that you can at least have success with. And keep in mind, every mode except for Showdown really isn't that sweaty. I mean, you'll match sweats in every mode, but outside of Showdown, you don't need the best team in the game at any point. You can build such a squad. Like I know it can be frustrating at times if you load into a Showdown with a budget squad. Let's say like my Pro Money Spent team that I have right now. If I were to load into a Showdown game with this team and then match up against somebody who's got D-Book, Dr. J, Wimby, Embiid, Scottie Pippen, and that's their starting lineup, like, okay, that's going to be tough. But I feel like it is now a little more viable to compete against those types of teams than it has been using budget cards and using a more cheaper squad. And I think it's hopefully going to continue to as well. We're going to get Galaxy Opals soon, and that will change some things. But what that will also change is I think it will drop pink diamond prices even more. And hopefully we will continue to see depth sprinkled throughout drops. Like, they just started giving us non-hidden gem diamond and amethyst cards in the Chills drop. Hopefully that continues as well, because if they keep inserting quality diamonds, quality amethysts, eventually quality budget pink diamonds once we get to opals and stuff into these packs, I think it will also help a lot, and it will continue to make the market more accessible and make it more fun, I think, in general for people who are playing the game. I do think they're actually kind of moving in a decent direction with this game overall. I know it's not perfect. I know people are still frustrated. I know there's certain cards that are unattainable and stuff, and I get that. That is annoying. But it seems a lot better than it's been the last couple of weeks, and today is not a bad option. I mean, these next couple of days don't seem to be a bad opportunity to buy cards for a nice price. And if there's a guy you've been eyeing for a while, probably going to be the cheapest they've been so far right now. So, that being said, I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.